Hello and welcome to sequelize-typescript-migration-lts demonstration video. In today's video I'm going to show you how to work with this library. At first I need to explain to you why I created new library and publish it on npm, as you can see here. First of all, the others version have some problems with with different type of database. For example, one of them has a problem with Postgres database, and it's hard work to report an issue, and the owner came and fixed it. So I decided to get a fork and develop it myself, and there is other people that helping to develop this project. So first of all, let's go ahead and see an example in this library. So this is the repository. First of all, you go ahead and clone the project like this. Then in your editor you here see that there is like this. Okay, so there is a src, that is the library itself, and there is an example folder. So in this folder that we are working today, there is a db folder. The db folders contains migrations, models, seeders, and config.json. So if you work with Sequelize, you know that config.json is the main file when you initialize the Sequelize. So there is configuration for different environment working with database. For example, here, as we are running in development environment, we got Postgres user, password, database name, host, and the SQL language. So the seeders that we are not going through in this video, so we skip it, and the models that the model indeed generate with Sequelize command line. I will show you, and the migration folder, as it's empty now, but maybe when you clone this project, there is a file in migration folder. So this is the db folder. If there is a question for you, why db folder, so go ahead and come to Sequelize rc file, and you can see here I configured here the db prefix. You can change it to whatever you want. Okay, here there is a TypeScript models. These models are forked from the main library. They have no bugs, so I keep them for the example. Okay, and the package.json file. We are going through these all scripts in a few seconds, but the main file of this example is practice.ts, and here we are initializing a new Sequelize instance with it configured, and we pass our model to it. After it creates the instance of sequelize, then it will call our library from this path here, and it will make migration by the given sequelize instance here to this path, exactly like I told you, the db migration folder. And there's other configuration for here, and you can explore more by looking at the source library project. Okay, so now first of all, we configured database name here as STM, sequelize-typescript-migration. As I have this database, I will change its name to like test. Okay, so as I mentioned before, there is .env file for the database configuration, and there is config.json that sequelize will create for us by initialize it. So I am not going to change this file. First I am going to recreate this file, and actually all these files by sequelize command first. So let's go ahead and do it. First I'm going to actually get a copy of the model. The model itself must be auto-generated, so we don't have a problem with it. But as I see, there is a problem in this version of sequelize that won't create it right, so I will copy that and I will explain it to you if there is a problem. So we are opening package.json. Here in package.json we are going to use the db init command. So first of all, after installing the related libraries like npmi command, after successfully installation, we are going to use this command. So here it says the file config.json already exists, so we can delete it, or we can use -- force. If that doesn't work, we are going to delete it manually. Let's see if it's override. It didn't, so we are going to delete it, and then use the command, and the model itself, let's delete that. Okay, run again. The config file, you notice that it changed, but let's make them disappear together and run again. So this is the normal response of that command. It says it created models, migration, seeders, and config.json. Simply go ahead, you can see here that this is the actual index.json index.js that sequelize generated for us, but there is issue right over here. As I searched for this version, there's a problem, so I replace it with the previous index.js that I back up. So now we done this part, we initialize it. So let's go ahead and use the db create command. Note that if you are using any different kind of database like MySQL, Postgres, you have to install its own, I like to say, driver. For Postgres you use PG, and one other library that sequelize in its documentation suggested. For MySQL, for example, you use MySQL 2, but here, as I'm just working with Postgres, I'm going to use PG. After we use the created db create command, here this is my database in Postgres. So now let's go ahead and look again at my config. My username is Postgres, my password, the database. Let's use this name as our main database, and this is Postgres. Save file. In the env file we change this to this. Okay, let's go ahead and npm run db create. Okay, db create worked successfully. Now we have our database right here. Okay, database development. If we open our schemas, tables, there is no tables here. Next step is actually working with our library. So we use this command. After a while, the library worked and auto-generated the migration for us. In the migration folder, there is a migration with number and name in it. The init name that given here is used. You can use whatever name you want. The main library works in some way that go ahead and looks here in the models folder and look here and remove the model and the TS extension, so it's remain car underline brand and car, and make migration with these names. Okay, but now as there is a little bug in this part of library, it doesn't work well here. So it doesn't work actually in this example. So I give it a static name like init. You can give any name you want. So here our migration actually generated successfully. Let's go ahead and look at our table. There is a table or relation sequelize meta and sequelize meta migration. In the sequelize meta migration, let's go ahead and look. There is a name of our created migration and its state. Okay, but in our sequelize meta, let's go ahead and look. There is nothing over here yet. but in next step we want our auto generated migration go ahead and migrate to our database. So the next command we use is db migrate. Let's go ahead and use it. You see, this command worked well, and if we go to the Postgres instance and refresh, there is our car. Let's go ahead and see its column. Yes, there is our car and car brand, exactly like our models, car and the car brand and the car here, exactly like the same. So, and how we track which migration is applied to our database and which not, we are going to use actually the sequelize method. When a migration is done, we see here the actual name of migration. So that's it for this tutorial. Make sure you go ahead and check it out and submit any kind of question or issue right in this repository. And if you are interested in contributing to this project, go ahead and contact me with email or whatever you like. This is my ID in GitHub, and this is the main package page of the sequelize-TypeScript migration-lts. Go ahead and use it and contact me in any case you need. Have a good luck and goodbye.